What if the kindest thing you ever did was forgotten by everyone except the one soul it saved? And what if, 50 years later, that soul came back, not with fanfare, not with words, but with a simple gift of warmth left quietly in the snow? This is the story of Martha. Martha Whitaker had long accepted the silence. Her small wooden cabin sat nestled at the edge of Wren Hollow, an Appalachian town with just 2 stop signs and 1 diner that closed on Sundays. At 82, Martha's life was measured in cups of tea, the creaking of her rocking chair, and the humming of wind through pine. She was not lonely, just alone. There's a difference. Her husband, Joe, had passed a decade ago. Her friends had either moved closer to their children or moved on from this world. Martha had neither no kids, no close family. Just memories, fading photographs, and her faithful old collie, Daisy. And then, on a Thursday in October, just as the sun slipped behind the ridge, came the knock. 3 of them. Not hurried, not hesitant. Sharp, intentional. Martha paused her knitting. Daisy perked up. She opened the door. No one. Just the fading autumn chill and the slow swirl of leaves. The next Thursday, the same. 3 knocks, then nothing. Then again, and again. By the 5th Thursday, Martha had begun to wait. She sat near the door, heart racing as the clock neared sunset. It was absurd at her age to feel such suspense. And then it came. But this time, when she opened the door, her breath caught. There, on her porch, wrapped in a cloth napkin, sat a plate of biscuits. Steam still rising from them, buttery and golden. They smelled familiar, like a memory she couldn't quite place. She looked out into the twilight. No footprints, no sound. Just her and the biscuits. She whispered to herself, "Who?" But the wind didn't answer. Have you ever received something so unexpected, so oddly timed, it made your heart ache and heal at once? Jesse Thompson had seen his share of puzzles. He had served 2 tours overseas and returned home with a limp, a quiet demeanor, and a drawer full of medals he never displayed. Moving to Wren Hollow was his retreat, a place to forget. But he never stopped noticing things. As the town's new postmaster, he learned the rhythms quickly, and Martha Whitaker was always part of Thursday's rhythm, dropping off a letter, collecting catalogs, always with a small wave and a smile. But lately, something had changed. She lingered longer, seemed distracted. So, one Thursday, Jesse asked, "Everything all right, Miss Whitaker?" Martha hesitated, then nodded toward the post office bench and sat. With hands folded, she told him everything. The knocks, the biscuits, the silence. Jesse listened quietly. When she finished, he asked just one question. "Do you recognize the biscuits?" Martha shook her head, then paused. "It's strange. I can't say I do, but they feel familiar, like something from long ago." Jesse's military instincts stirred. He didn't believe in ghosts, but he believed in people, and he knew when something was more than coincidence. That night, he pulled out an old trunk. Inside were service records, names of fellow soldiers, scanned letters. Among them, a photo of a boyish private in Vietnam holding up a biscuit and grinning. Scrawled on the back, "Martha's biscuits are the only good thing here. Private Eli Langston, Mia 1968. Could it be? Who's the one person from your past you silently wish could know you're okay?" Jesse returned the next day. Martha sat on her porch with Daisy curled at her feet. She saw the look in Jesse's eyes before he spoke. "I think I found him," he said, handing her the photo. Her hand trembled as she took it. She stared at the young face, the grin, the biscuit. "I remember," she whispered. He was just a boy, scared. I used to run a little canteen in Saigon, made coffee, wrote letters home for the boys, baked when I could. I gave him my last biscuit once," he cried. "Told me it was the first thing that tasted like home in months." She pressed the photo to her heart. "I never knew what happened to him." "He made it," Jesse said. "After the war, he disappeared for a while, lived off-grid. Lost his wife last year, moved just an hour from here. Last month, he started showing up at the Wren Hollow Diner, asking about you." Martha's eyes filled with tears. "Why not come see me?" Jesse shrugged gently. "Guilt, maybe, or shame. Soldiers carry strange weights. Some think they're too broken to return kindness." That evening, Martha didn't wait inside. She stood on her porch. And when the 3 knocks came, she opened the door before they finished. There he was. Older, weathered, eyes heavy with memory. "Eli," she breathed. "I didn't know how to thank you," he whispered. "So I baked, the way you did for me." Martha stepped forward, took his hands in hers. "You came home," she said, smiling through tears. He nodded. "Because you made it feel like I had one to come back to." What would you say if the person you saved came back to thank you after half a century? Eli didn't leave after that. He stayed. First in the guest room, then, slowly, in Martha's life. They walked together through the woods, sat silently by the fire, shared old stories that neither had spoken aloud in years. "I thought I'd be alone till I died," Martha told him one night, voice soft. "So did I," Eli replied. "Turns out we just needed each other's doors to knock on." Word spread quietly in Wren Hollow about the soldier who came back, about the biscuits, about Martha's kindness that had echoed across 5 decades. Inspired, Jesse helped Martha reopen her old canteen this time as Mama Whitaker's Biscuit Shed. Open Saturdays only, a line formed before dawn each week. Veterans, travelers, families, even strangers passing through would stop to read the sign on the wall. "A biscuit once saved a soul. May this one warm yours." They never charge for veterans. Sometimes in the corner of the shop, Eli would sit, sipping tea, eyes scanning each face, maybe wondering which ones needed saving next. Because once you've been brought back by kindness, you never stop offering it. Who in your life deserves a second chance, even if they haven't asked for it? Winter came again. Daisy grew slower. Martha's hands ached more. But her heart? Fuller than ever. One morning, a letter arrived. Jesse handed it to Martha. No return address, just a pressed flower inside and 5 words. "Thank you for the warmth." Martha smiled. She didn't need to know who it was from. Maybe a veteran, maybe a customer, maybe someone who had heard her story. Because stories, like kindness, ripple. On the last Thursday of the year, the town gathered outside Mama Whitaker's for candlelight and music. Snow fell gently. Eli stood beside Martha, his arm linked in hers. Jesse gave a short speech. She gave biscuits, he gave them back. And the rest of us? We got something even greater proof that no act of kindness is ever wasted. Martha looked out at the faces, some familiar, some not. She whispered, "Joe would have loved this." Eli leaned in. "He would have been proud of you." And for the first time in decades, Martha felt home. Sometimes we're not waiting to be rescued. Sometimes we're waiting to be remembered. So if you hear a knock at your door, open it. If you feel a whisper of the past tug at your heart, follow it. And if someone ever gave you kindness, no matter how small, return it, quietly or loudly, with words or biscuits. Because the smallest act can echo louder than 1,000 voices. And you, yes, you might be someone's Thursday knock. If this story moved you, even a little, please like and subscribe to The Kind Story. Share this with someone who's carried your kindness in silence. Let's keep knocking gently on the doors of the world. Disclaimer: this story is an original work for The Kind Story, created by human writers with AI assistance for formatting or narration. It reflects real-life inspired emotions and adheres to YouTube's community guidelines and monetization policies.